It has been rather fabulous in Viva Las Vegas so far today. 3 exciting quarterfinal games. The EAS Mountain West Championship at the Thomas & Mack. Lobos run a Rebels, and the winner gets Utah tomorrow night. And what a game the Utes had just a few moments ago, knocking off Colorado State. As Chris Fowler told you, some excitement here this afternoon, including those feisty Falcons of Air Force. Bob Carpenter, Jimmy Dykes, welcome to Vegas. The team split during the regular season, Jimmy, on their own home floor. Not an easy thing for New Mexico to play these guys here.
Not at all. We've seen UNLV work their magic before during conference tournament time, and they're going to try to run 3 in a row and get back to the NCAA tournament. New Mexico has a chance to win this ball game. They can't have 20 turnovers like they had on Saturday. They got to value that basketball. UNLV gets after you in that half-court defense pretty well. And in that game, Vegas shot way over 50%. Delron Johnson, the guy to watch, all-conference player for UNLV. And, of course, Ruben Douglas, all-conference for New Mexico. Eric Chatfield, one of the better defensive players in this league. There's the home and home. Lobos by 3 in OT at home. Rebels by 9 last Saturday. Another one of those situations where clubs get together right after meeting in the regular season. Opening tip, Marcus Banks, the league's defensive player of the year, getting the Rebels into their offense. Delron Johnson, Richardson, penetrate. Chatfield watching Banks, key matchup there. Left side, Lou Kelly, who made honorable mention all conference. His left-hander rattles down. Lou Kelly's been shooting the ball pretty well lately. One of those kids that when he knocks down his first one, he's a serious threat to knock down his second, third, and fourth shot. A momentum shooter is Lou Kelly.
Right wing Chatfield, far Fran for Shilla's Lobos. New Mexico comes in the number 6 seed, 6 and 8 in the conference, and a good left-hander by Eric, who's very good defensively, and he averages 11 points a game at the other end.
Bob, these two teams are going to run both directions tonight. They're going to try to play the game in the upper 80s if possible.
Marcus Banks misfires his 3. Mustafa Jean, the New Mexico rebound. Clean steal. Marcus Banks, 2 on 3. Maybe ought to wait. He's got a trailer. Kelly, yes, and a foul.
Tell you what, that's an awfully good defensive play in the open floor by the best defender in the Mountain West, Marcus Banks. Look at him. Bait that pass up the sidelines. Great anticipation. Got the steal and comes down and gets UNLV going early. That's a kid that really understands how to read the passer's eyes, has great anticipation.
81% at the line, Lou Kelly. Senior swingman out of San Bernardino. He'll settle for 4. Kelly 4, New Mexico 2, and down the court, Sin Q carry for Fran Fraschilla. 16 and 12 for the Lobos. They were 14 and 5 at home. In conference play on the road, 1 win, 6 losses. Ruben Douglas, the runner. Dennehy almost tipped it in. Loose ball finds Mustafa Jean. He can't find it. It falls out of his hands over the baseline. Charlie Spoonhour, first year out here. A man with 337 career wins after some good years at Southwest Missouri State and St. Louis U.
And that's a set play that he called. He wasn't fixing his hair. You understood that, don't you?
Absolutely.
Many games that you watch, you should pick that up by now.
Well, you had him in the Billiken outfit in Cincinnati last night.
It may have been him.
I did talk to Jay Spooner. He said, no, his father was here getting ready for New Mexico.
Tell you what, New Mexico, the strength of their club, Bob, lies in the guard's hands. They're a threat to take you off the bounce anytime. They got really good strength, and they're a decent three-point shooting club. And there's Sin Q Carey with a big basket. This is not his strength.
I'd say that's pretty decent for a guy shooting 17% beyond the arc. New Mexico 5-4. Chris Richardson, good slasher. Delron Johnson, I don't know if he meant it to be a ball fake, but he faked us all out. And an air ball from the left side by Lou Kelly, who will take some wild shots. 2.5 minutes in, good pace so far.
Boy, one-on-one defense now. I'm talking about staying down and fighting it and not relying on help. It's a real huge key for this ball game on both sides. A lot of one-on-one in the offense.
Ron Zetcher with a 5-second call. Lonnie Dixon, the lead official tonight. Ronnie Hernandez is the third official, and here we go. Marcus Banks really had a good first year in the Mountain West, averaging 16 a game after averaging 17 at Dixie College. JC All-American up in Utah last year.
Well, Delron Johnson is the key matchup for New Mexico. They didn't match up well with him on Saturday. If he starts getting off early, expect Eric Chatfield to slide over and replace Dennehy as the defender.
And Delron had 24 points and 8 boards in that game. Yes, sir. Marcus Banks, first basket of the game. Made the second-team all-conference squad and was chosen the league's defensive player of the year, #1 with 57 steals during the regular season. Underneath, Dennehy, good work. Squirting away from a couple of Rebel defenders, and Patrick Dennehy with his first.
Nice flash of that basketball. Dennehy posted up like he really wanted it.
Banks driving, dishing. It's going to go. No, it's going to stay with the Rebels. Lonnie Dixon trying to make up his mind. Looking over to Ron Zetcher for some help.
I've watched this last trip by New Mexico. You see Patrick Dennehy. He's going to flash that ball. Hold it right there, guys. Look at him. That's a great position on that low block. That's posting up like I want it. A lot of post guys post up like maybe throw it to me, maybe not. Not on that possession by Dennehy.
Shot clock to 15 for the Rebels. Down by 1 at home early. Well, Ron Johnson almost shuffling those feet. Managed to keep his pivot foot. And the 6'9 junior from Bourbon Day in LA has his first 2 of the night. He leads the Rebels with 17 points, 7 rebounds a game.
Bob, we've already seen most of the offense in this ball game right now has been off of one-on-one stuff. Again, as you're a defender in this ball game, you can't rely on help. You just lock up and play.
Well, everybody just stood around and watched Eric Chatfield casually dribble out for a 3. And he's a capable three-point shooter at 36%. Eric Chatfield been shooting nearly 60% for the last 2 weeks. And a blocking foul on New Mexico down low. That'll go against Sin-Q Carey.
Again, New Mexico had 20 turnovers on Saturday against UNLV. Value that basketball tonight as a Lobo. You got a chance to advance.
4.5 in. Lobos by 2. Fourth game of the day here in Vegas, and it's New Mexico early over the home team. We've got more wall-to-wall hoops for you. Friday, ConAgra Foods Big East Championship, the semis. Miami and Pitt, that's a great matchup. Notre Dame gets UConn, 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock on ESPN Eastern Time tomorrow night. Log on to ESPN.com for more on the Big East Championship week and all the March Madness going on.
Well, from what I've seen, Miami's got the most talent in that league right now. I really like those guys. Selection Sunday and from then on for a couple of wins.
Ran for Schillo. I would call that a strained smile. Javon Banks right in there, and he feeds to Delron Johnson, who goes back iron with a slam. How do you miss that? Here's Douglas. He takes contact on Vince Booker.
Well, both teams really aggressive now once they secure that basketball, running from defense to offense. Transition defense is a vital factor for both clubs, and again, just getting back, locking down, staying low, and playing the game tonight with an I don't need help mentality. That's a premium for both ball clubs.
Lou Kelly back in. Chris Richardson sits for UNLV. Curling as Chatfield can't get open. Douglas the second curler. How about that? He just followed the first guy around, and Rubin tops in the league at 18 a game, draining his first basket of the night. Tough shot, Booker. A swishing free, Vince Booker. And we've got some guys with red-hot hands early in this one tonight.
Vince Booker's a guy shooting almost 50% from the three-point line, Bob, but he only shoots 2 times a ball game. I would like to get him involved more if I'm Charlie Spoonow.
Douglas draws double coverage, kicks it off for Chatfield. Working off a pick, Dennehy picked and rolled for him. And the foul before the shot appears to be on Lou Kelly of UNLV.
Kind of some false motion to start with. The first guy circles off. Now watch this as the second guy comes around. Boom, catch. No hesitation, up and in. I like that out of bounds play. You send the first guy circle through and make the defense think, well, we cover the circle guy, send the second guy through.
Carey for 3. Sin-Q swishes. He's got 2 in a row. How about that? For a guy shooting less than 20%, Marcus Banks goes coast to coast, or as they call it out here, dune to dune, and New Mexico on top by a couple after that Vegas basket.
Boy, he has great, I'm talking great straight-ahead speed with that basketball, Marcus Banks.
Sin-Q Carey nearly slipping. Great offensive start to this one. Pick, by Jamal Williams. Here's Rubin, unlimited range. Off to the right with his three, and a good rebound by Marcus Banks.
Well, I told you the guards are going to dominate this ball game on both ends. Good nucleus for both teams.
Luke Kelly picking up his dribble, nearly getting in trouble. Look at it, he gets back. Great look. Wow. Javon Banks with a nice assist.
Everybody out pressuring on the perimeter. Nobody protecting that rim.
Bit of a broken play, and it ended quite nicely, didn't it?
Yeah, great read by Luke Kelly.
15 all.
I think this is exactly the kind of game that UNLV wants.
Steal. Javon Banks off to the races. And he banks it. Now he'll lay it in for the lead. Javon Banks. He's got 13 turnovers this year, 49 assists. And in conference play, his ratio 6.2 to 1. And that was a great steal. Timeout, New Mexico.
Bob, it's really important against pressure defense like UNLV's putting on you to initiate your offense with that good entry pass. You're going to see a couple of possessions ago, the read of the defense, and Luke Kelly realized my guy went to double the basketball. I'm going straight to the rim. That's what I'm talking about right there. You've got to be very solid in your screening on the entry pass just to get your offense going. UNLV is going to continue to put a lot of pressure on that basketball, get out and try to deny the wings. You got to set solid screens, get some back cuts in your offense, but you better execute every time or Charlie Spoonhour's club will rip and run.
Great shooting, 67% for both clubs. And Javon Banks comes in off the bench, makes an impact. He averages 18 minutes a game. Senior guard, Vegas kid out of local Valley High School. Luke Kelly had a couple of baskets early. Cody Payne in for New Mexico. And he will be joined by Tim Lightfoot, one of their three-point snipers.
As aggressive as UNLV is, it's no surprise they led the Mountain West this year, averaging 10 steals a ball game. And that's not counting turnovers they force. That's just flat out, you've got it, boom, now I've got it. There's one steal.
Eric Chatfield on the perimeter. Booker tries to stay with him and make some contact with him with a little grab. Ronnie Hernandez on the whistle. And that'll be 2 on Vince Booker, who has started all 28 games for UNLV this year.
Well, so far this game is all about angles on the perimeter. Catching that ball, getting that defender to shade one side or the other, getting an angle to the rim and attacking.
Charlie Spoonhour checks in his 8th player, Ernest Turner, a 6'2" freshman guard out of Magnolia, New Jersey. Doesn't play a whole lot. Charlie keeping some fresh bodies out there early. Turner trying to harass Ruben Douglas out there on the perimeter. Staying right with him, belly to belly. Entry pass. Williams. Jamal missing. Chris Richardson the rebound. Luke Kelly straight ahead. Javon Banks. Nice fake. Lays it up. It won't go. Cody Payne for New Mexico with the rebound.
That was a pretty of a miss that we've seen all year, though, wasn't it? A beautiful miss.
That's one miss I wouldn't mind seeing replay. Looks like a foul on Ernest Turner of UNLV.
Boy, the quickness of these UNLV guards. Look at Banks. He covers about 20 feet in 1.5 seconds and one bounce of the ball.
Cody Payne off the inbounds, muscling in, bouncing it in. This kid's tough. 6'7", 235. JUCO at Collin County, Plano, Texas last year.
Kind of unusual to say, Bob, but New Mexico actually has an advantage on the inside tonight. They had a 36-21 rebound advantage on Saturday.
It was offset by some great Vegas shooting, 54%. Speaking of which, Levante Johnson, and there's a 28% three-point shooter, draining a beauty from the corner. 2017, running and gunning Rebels.
That's just great pressure on the basketball by Javon Banks.
Chatfield got some separation for himself, couldn't knock it down. Douglas has the ball ripped out of his hands, and Lonnie Dixon calls a foul.
Hey, I tell you right now, though, I'm going to applaud myself for the emotion and the energy both these clubs are playing with. You expect going from preseason to conference to postseason to play with some urgency. They're playing with urgency with a capital U.
And a guy that I would call the most relieved man in Las Vegas, Nevada, Steve McLean of Wyoming. That was a tough game against Air Force today.
Unbelievable, Bob. And we knew what we were facing because they'd fought everybody all year. And we knew what we were facing, and we were lucky to come out with the win.
Marcus Bailey, huge shot at the end of regulation.
Well, some people thought he should have been the player of the year. Probably proved it today. He stepped up and made the shot when he had to.
Now, let me ask you this. Talk about your club right now as far as the NCAA tournament. I think you're in. There's no way the regular season champion in the Mountain West doesn't get in, but there's talk right now that you're still on the bubble. Address it for me and you both.
Well, I would hope, Jimmy, you know, we're 21-7 now. We've got 2 top 25 wins. You know, we went through some injuries early and came back and really turned it up. And, you know, really the only bad loss I see is Boise State. I don't look at USC and Texas Tech as bad losses, or Detroit. And, you know, our strength of schedule, it's hard when you can't get anybody to come to Laramie.
Exactly. I mean, that's your strength of schedule is 121, but people don't understand. Not everyone's calling you to say, hey, let's hook up for a home and home even.
Not exactly, since we're 48-6 at home. But you know what? You always hope, and you know this time of year, everybody's watching close, and I think we're proving we belong up there with the best, and that's all you can do.
Loose ball, that's Dennehy. And Patrick Dennehy, good job of picking that thing up and dropping it in. 4 for him, and New Mexico gets it back to 1.
Steve, how important is it to take your club from preseason play to conference play and then postseason play as far as different levels and playing with an urgency? You got to do it, I know.
Well, that's what I told the kids. When we went into yesterday's practice, I said, it's a one-game season now. That's all you're promised, and you better have that sense of urgency. And I thought we did today, and you know, I know tomorrow night they're excited because we lost to San Diego State at home. Mark Bailey doesn't play the first half, and we lose by 4. So I know the kids are excited about tomorrow night.
That's Tim Lightfoot. You saw Delron Johnson score at the other end. Hello, Chris Richardson in transition. And Vegas leads by 3. This is quite a first half we're having here.
What do you tell your club when they give up a layup like that from 94 feet away?
Well, you try to find somebody on that bench that would like to get back there and protect that goal.
Ain't that the truth? And usually you have somebody.
Well, Fran appears to be stuck with the 5 on the floor right now. He's not looking for anybody. Sid Carey will run his offense. We're visiting with Steve McLean, whose Cowboys scored a dramatic win in OT today. There's Aaron Chetfield fouled from behind. He'll get a couple, and he'll shoot again. Hey, just to get Steve excited again, a few highlights from that game this afternoon.
Straight.
Well, we ran the play just like we drew it up. And Mark nailed the shot, and I knew they were going to go look and see if he was on the line, and he wasn't. And then we get a stop right here, and they still get a chance right here, and we luck out and it comes off. And great effort by Joe Scott's kids. You can't say enough about how hard they play.
There is nobody in this league who wants to face Air Force anymore in this tournament, especially at noon on the first day. Here's Richardson kicking it. Delron Johnson. He looked down to check where his sneakers were. Then he missed the shot. And Chatfield back the other way for New Mexico. We're halfway through the first half and all tied up at 4. We had 5 lead changes before the first media timeout in this game.
Steve, not only am I convinced that this league obviously already has you guys in the NCAA tournament, I think this league's good enough to get another team when you look at this league as far as its RPI. I mean, it's right below the Big Ten. It's ahead of Conference USA, and those are 2 leagues that are talking about getting multiple teams in. Tell me what you think about that.
Well, I don't think there's any question, Jimmy. I think when you talk about 4 or 5 out of the Big Ten and 3 or 4 out of Conference USA, if we're in between them, then we should be talking about 3 for sure. And again, that's where you hope the people sitting in that room are going to look at that when it's all said and done and evaluate that.
You know what that is? That's Jimmy Dykes' common sense index. Throw out the RPI and the strength of schedule and things you got to plug in to figure out formulas. Common sense index would tell you that.
Well, I heard for that Vitale say tonight on Butler, you just have to throw out the RPIs.
Whoa! Foul before the shot of Marcus Banks. Well, Steve, thanks so much for joining us. Great win today. Good luck tomorrow. You've got your hands full with San Diego State.
Well, Bob, I always appreciate the job you and Jimmy do for our conference, and it's a great league, and it just keeps getting better, and we're looking forward to tomorrow night.
All right. Enjoy your evening, buddy.
Get back to watching film.
That's our conference coach of the year, Steve McLean of Wyoming. Cowboys won the regular season championship and squeaked by in OT today thanks to a really not quite a buzzer beater, but pretty close by Their go-to guy. There's Kelly. Luke Kelly rolling one in for three-point range. That big shot today by Marcus Bailey, who scored 29 in that game for Wyoming. 27-26 UNLV here. Lightfoot for New Mexico. He'll take the three. He'll rim it and make it. And Tim Lightfoot off the bench with 5 points.
A guy that you don't dare to shoot the basketball. He's the league leader in three-point shooting.
How about this? Both teams are 12 out of 19, 63% turnover. And then Douglas falls. They had Chetfield down the floor for a break. Vegas gets it back. Delron Johnson jams it. Talk about a broken play.
Bob, you just can't play any harder than these two clubs have played the first 11-plus minutes. That's how you play the game of basketball in March right here.
Brad Fragilla claiming Vegas kicked that ball to get possession.
I don't like that
thing at half court. You know what? This is about the 4th time today we've seen a player slip and fall on that logo at midcourt.
It's actually a sticker. That thing's slick. I was out there walking around before the ball game. There's the effort I'm talking about, man. Pick that thing up, attack the rim. Two teams playing with passion right now. And they're playing for their postseason life. The only chance these clubs have, I think, is to win this tournament, and they know it going in, as far as the NCAA is concerned.
Delron Johnson creating separation. 8 for Delron, first team all-conference, and well over 1,100 points in his Vegas career. UNLV 31-29. Chetfield penetrating, hanging. Dennehy gets it. He'll go it up himself, and Delron Johnson pulls it down one-handed.
We have had a ton of shots taken off of one pass.
What a look by Javon Banks, and Omari Pierce couldn't finish it. That was a great diagonal 35, 40-foot pass. 7:53 to go, first half. To say the least, a spirited affair here in Vegas. That may be the only thing lately we've seen miss. As we get through our first day of quarterfinal action here at the Thomas & Mack in Las Vegas. The ACC coming your way tomorrow. Florida State, nice job of getting Clemson tonight. They get number 2 Maryland. Thanks a lot at noon tomorrow. NC State and Virginia right after that. Log on to ESPN.com. There's more ACC tomorrow night. Carolina and Duke, Tech and Wake. That's on ESPN2. Presented by 7-Up. And those ACC games are subject to blackout. A little Rebel right here on Gucci Row.
Georgia Tech's played pretty well, Bob, since you and I got them kick-started in St. Louis.
Maybe the worst game we saw all year, and they've been great ever since. How about Delron? Shooting well, making some things happen. Ruben Douglas, he drains it to tie it, and Ruben Douglas with his second field goal of the night. 31 all. 6th tie. Says my stat guy, Mark Amento, sitting to my left.
Tell you what, there has not been more than 4 passes made by either ball club in a possession yet.
Great rebounding, Omari Pierce. I think he just made up for the slam he missed. And Omari off the bench, a 6'8 sophomore out of Maywood, Illinois. And Vegas back on top, 33-31. Ruben Douglas from Chatfield. Ball fake. Javon Banks did a nice job of stopping it. Dennehy falling away. Can't bank it in. And then he knocks it over the baseline. Patrick Dennehy very active tonight. He's been shooting almost mid-50s in Mountain West play. And he made the honorable mention all-conference club. Chad Bell in there for New Mexico. First appearance of the night for the freshman postman. Out of Inglewood, California, he goes 6'11", 230. Wearing that headband right in the middle, number 1. Steps out to get Omari Pierce. How about the wingspan on this guy? Long 3, Marcus Banks. Delron Johnson couldn't save it. It goes back to New Mexico.
A lot of surprise rebounds in this ball game. What I mean by that, quick shots. Guys on the interior not expecting the shot to go up. So you're going to see some funny things happen around that rim right now because of the unexpectancy of the shot being taken.
Ruben Douglas switching it, never got there. Trying to skip it over the top for Tim Lightfield. Luke Kelly stealing it. Pearson on the wing, and it won't go for Javon Banks. Omari's got it again. Should we even bother with a shot clock?
I haven't looked at it yet. I'm just intrigued by the pressure and the quickness on the perimeter right now with these ball clubs.
6 minutes to go first half. Kelly hangs, can't score. Dennehy rips it down. And that's his fourth quarter tonight. Patrick looking good with 6 points.
You want to see somebody fight you on defense. Look at number 3 in the white and number 11 in white. I mean, they are one. That's a great example of you breathe, I breathe defense right there. That's exactly how they're playing on the perimeter, Javon Banks and Marcus Banks. Look at this right here. I mean, he's just right up into you, chest to chest, moving those feet well.
And it was Delron Johnson who got the foul.
Forced Chatfield into a tough shot. They have really bought into Charlie Spoonhour's man-to-man defensive pressure. It wasn't there in November, wasn't quite there yet in December, but then in January, February, we saw it start to come. That's when this guy started winning some ball games.
Yeah, we made 3 different visits to Vegas during the season. Every time we were here, we saw a little bit of difference in the Rebels. It takes a while. Charlie coming in, first-year coach.
I know he and Bob Huggins talk about a lot of things when they're together, but there's a common denominator between the friendships. They understand man-to-man defensive pressure as well as anybody out there.
Best of friends, Hugs and Spoon. 5.5 to go. Another tie. Chris Richardson takes care of that. His second field goal of the night. And we've got guys making plays constantly at both ends of this Thomas and Mack floor. Thanks watching Chatfield. 2 great defensive players on each other right there. Lightfoot looking for separation to create a shot. Way short. And a great box out by little Javon Banks in there. Straight ahead, Marcus Banks. He doesn't have to bank. And that's a half dozen for him. UNLV by 4. That gets the crowd on its feet now. A lot of red here. Hard to tell the difference between Vegas and Lobo fans.
There you go, get Dennehy involved.
Wow, Chatfield, what a look.
He's the difference maker, I think, tonight on the interior because of his size, and he's confident on the offensive end. New Mexico can't get so caught up in their guard play, they forget about 33 in the red.
37-35 UNLV. Dennehy now 8 points, 4 rebounds. On his way to his 4th double-double of the year here early. Banks and Chatfield. Marcus speeds to the right. And Dennehy stops in goal. Ruben Douglas falls on the logo at midcourt again. Javon Banks. Marcus Banks. Oh, up and in. And a foul. Jimmy, I know tournaments have sponsors. We have seen a lot of guys falling at midcourt. It's really tough. Look at that.
Oh, look at that.
They've got to do something about that.
Yeah, that's 6 or 7 times today we've seen that happen. That can influence a ball game, cause an injury. Marcus Banks is the guy that triggers things for Vegas, Bob, on both ends of the floor. He's the pressure defender that triggers their half-court defense, and he's the push guy with aggressiveness and speed with that basketball and can finish around the rim on the offensive end. He is a valuable, valuable kid right now for the Rebels.
Marcus Banks at the line. 69% shooter. Led them in assists, steals,
free throw attempts.
And he's going to be on his way to his 10th 20-point game of the year. Biggest lead now for UNLV, 5 points. It's been that tight of the first half. 4 minutes to go. Ruben Douglas drawing a foul and scoring. And that foul will be on Lewis Amundsen, the talented freshman who just checked in for UNLV.
Tell you what, you can't be out chasing people if you're an off-ball defender right now. You've got to get back and start protecting that lane because both clubs are in that catch and attack mentality. The help defense has got to be searching out that ball right now and running people.
Ruben Douglas with 7. And we got the under 4-minute timeout. It comes with 3:57 to go. Ruben Douglas takes a 5-point deficit, turns it into a deuce. Great first half in Vegas.
I want to talk about what the mistake Louis Amundsen just made as a defender. Now watch as this ball's passed to the wing. Hold it right there, guys. This is the guy that I'm talking about. He's the help defender. He's guarding the guy at the elbow. But he's got to get off to the ball more. He's got to get off quickly. He's got to anticipate right now. That's what I'm talking about. Anticipate the drive. Play the game one pass ahead or one bounce ahead and get off in help position, maybe an extra step or a half a step, and cheat right now off of the drive. Yes, he was in position. He needs to start cheating a little bit more because the game is dictating how you play defensively right now.
Amazing. UNLV forcing 7, scoring 13 points off those turnovers. 3:50 to go first half. UNLV leads New Mexico 40-38. Turner driving against Douglas. Feeding it. Wow, what a great pass. Marcus Banks the finish. That's 11 for Marcus, and that's Ernest Turner, who plays about 7 minutes a game. He did have 12 against New Mexico last week. Chatfield, nobody stepped out to stop him, and that's a dozen for Eric Chatfield.
First of all, Bob, the spacing is really good for both clubs, which is allowing a lot of driving opportunities and creating angles. That's important. Right now it looks like just pretty much a simple kind of a shirts and skins type deal. A lot of good things going on that's allowing these guys to bounce that ball and attack the rim from 15, 18 feet out.
Cody Payne on the foul. 5 team fouls on New Mexico. So UNLV not shooting yet. They've committed 9 team fouls. We've got 3:18 to go before halftime of this quarterfinal game. Winner of this one gets Utah tomorrow night. And there's a little follow. Marcus Banks has 13 first half points. He had 21 first time these clubs got together at New Mexico back at the pit February 5th. Ruben Douglas in the corner. Javon Banks pawing away at him.
Look at Javon Banks.
He's really had an impact on this game.
His coach told him, go in and don't let your guy touch the ball. If he touches the ball, don't let him shoot it. He said, yes, sir, wiped his shoes off and went in and did it. You got to love kids like that.
Dennehy turning one way, then the other. Working on the freshman Amundsen. Omari Pierce skying. He'll rocket it to the other end. Turner turning. And he tried to pass through about 4 New Mexico arms. Here's Eric Chatfield, who's been great in transition tonight. He does it again, and a blocking foul against Omari Pierce.
Chatfield gets a lot of stuff done, Bob, off of a strong dribble, not so much with quickness. I mean, he's a bull with that basketball. He gets that 200-plus pounds going at the rim, and it's hard to knock him offline. I mean, the defense was a decent job to take him out of the play, but he's so strong, a little bit of contact does not knock this kid off the path he wants to go.
Here's all you need to know about Eric Chatfield. He's built like a linebacker, handles it like a point guard. That's the first scouting report we heard about him this year. Plus, he plays the great defense. UNLV still on top by 1, 2:25 before halftime. We're on pace for a game in the 80s, maybe the 90s. Turner, dribble penetration, hanging, can't score, draws a foul on Tim Lightfoot. Championship week presented by 7-Up. This is the Mountain West Championship in Las Vegas, presented by EAS at the Thomas and Mack Center. Jimmy Dykes, Bob Carpenter, our Mountain West crew, led by Jeff Kibler. We've been with you on Big Monday all season long. We've got a big Thursday going on right here. Turner drains it. First point for Ernest. Jersey kid. Richardson will replace Omari Pierce.
Bobby, look at this conference right now, looking ahead to tournament action starting next week. I really think 6 of the 8 teams in this league will be in postseason play. I expect 2 to be in the NCAA tournament. The other 4 are quality NIT teams that draw well at home. That's a big plus right now for this league.
BYU, San Diego State looking good today.
These 2 clubs right here.
Don't anybody assume that San Diego State's not a threat to win this tournament. They play Wyoming tomorrow. Dennehy can't roll it in. Loose ball baseline. Jumper. Ruben Douglas. And that's 9 for him. And UNLV on top by 1 as New Mexico shaves it close again. A minute 40 before halftime.
Well, the guards are in a confident rhythm for both clubs, to say the least.
Banks for Kelly. Luke Kelly had a couple of baskets early. Because of a foul by Ruben Douglas, it slips out of Lou's hands. And for Ruben, that will be his first. Coming up at halftime, the 7-Up halftime report. Chris Fowler doing the late night thing for us. He'll talk about the Pac-10 action with USC, Sam Clancy and company. Jimmy and I were so impressed with them back in the NIT. You can get your brackets updated. And how about South Carolina finally getting an upset in the Southeastern Conference Tournament today?
You know what I like about Southern Cal? They've got a stud at the point guard in Brandon Granville and a stud inside in Sam Clancy. Those are the two key components you have to have come March. And everything else can kind of feed off those two guys. But that Pac-10, I'm not so sure that might not be top to bottom the best league in the country right now when Selection Sunday comes out. There's a bunch of teams in there that are a threat to win a game or two.
Evidently the officials over there checking to see whether or not there were sneakers near that three-point line when that last foul was committed. Lonnie Dixon and Ron Zetcher over there. Luke Kelly. Well, definitely inside the arc.
Yeah, I don't know what the question is. Yeah, they're just trying to decide was it a 3 or a 2 when he was fouled.
Luke Kelly to the line, a 81% free throw shooter. This guy's had some big games. He's been 20 or better 7 times. 16 at New Mexico. 7 with a couple of assists against the Lobos on this floor last Saturday. And lose into double figures. Kelly with 10. Marcus Banks 13. On the New Mexico side, 15 for Eric Chatfield. So 3 players in this game already in double figures.
Well, we talked about it some with Steve McClain, but again, you throw that conference RPI up there, and you look at the Big Ten that's just ahead of the Mountain West. Illinois, Ohio State, Indiana, Wisconsin, those teams are going to be in the NCAA tournament, and maybe a Minnesota. And then just right below the Mountain West is Conference USA with a #1 seed possibility in Cincinnati. Marquette's going to get in. And then Charlotte, Memphis, and Louisville are serious threats right now. There's no way you can convince me this league is deserving of only one team.
Dennehy rolling it in. Patrick Dennehy double figures. And a use it or lose it timeout for Charlie Spoonhour with 1:09 remaining first half.
Patrick Dennehy is as much as an improved guy as this league has to offer. Averaging about 7 boards a game, understands his role. He doesn't fight pressure anymore on the block. He lets the defense dictate what he's going to do. Then he doesn't get in a hurry. Something that he did last year as a freshman, which a lot of freshman big guys do. And now, here's that conference RPI I'm talking about. Look at the Mountain West down here and the Big Ten and the Conference USA. Those are the 3 that I've been looking at and concentrating on the last couple of weeks. The Big Ten is going to get, probably 4, maybe 5 teams in. The Mountain West is a question mark right now. In Conference USA, they're talking about 3 to 4. Well, somewhere between 4 and 3 to 4 has to be maybe 2 or 3. That's just my common sense index. And I'm not a cheerleader for this league, but we watch as much basketball as anybody, and we know the quality of basketball out here with Wyoming and Utah and BYU and UNLV right now.
Are we going to talk about teams with under 500 records again tonight?
Don't get me started. Because that needs to be the other thing in the selection committee's eyes that says, hey, if you can't finish 500 in your own league, then you're automatically disqualified for an at-large bid. You still have a chance to win your tournament, but there's not a conference in the country that's strong enough to say we didn't finish 500, but we should still get an at-large bid. That's only fair to the Pepperdines, the Southern Illinois, the Tulsas of the world.
Marcus Banks on the drive had it ripped out of his hands, and now the Lobos could lead at the half. There's a 4-second differential between the clocks. Eric Chatfield will just bounce the ball in front of us. Marcus Banks looking at the clock, now looking at Eric. Lonnie Dixon, the official, standing alongside. And with about 10, they'll get into their offense. Here they go. Chatfield's been driving it beautifully all night. And away from the ball, Javon Banks grabbed Ruben Douglas, who was curling out to possibly receive a pass.
Boy, fighting him hard to keep my man from catching the basketball. That's what the coach told me. Hard for your guy to score when he doesn't have the leather in his palms, and that's exactly the mentality that Javon Banks has played this entire first half with. He gets caught on the hold this time.
Ruben Douglas, first one to tie. 10 team fouls or better on UNLV, so he'll shoot a couple here.
He has been on fire, hasn't he? 27 points a game over the last 4, shooting 61% from the three-point line.
This guy's only been around here for 2 years, and he will be close. Well, early next season, he'll go over 1,000 points in the first couple of games. Ruben Douglas, the former Arizona Wildcat for Lute Olson. That ties the game. 10 for Ruben, 48 all, 8.7 seconds to go. Grant Fraschilla wants Chad Bellum that wingspan in for defense, replacing Cody Payne.
Instead of chips and dip at halftime of this one back home, you better get one of those power gel things. You know what I'm saying? Liven up for the second half.
Get some caffeine, folks.
Made me tired.
Marcus Banks fouled, and another player slipping at midcourt. Tim Lightfoot on the foul. That'll be his second. I'm not so sure he didn't slip into the defender here.
Man, we need to mop that thing with a wet towel at halftime or something. 4th game of the day, a lot of traffic on it.
Marcus Banks, 13 first half points. Vegas by 1. And a chance to speed their way to 50 here in the first half. Coming in for the shooter momentarily will be LaFontae Johnson.
UNLV with 18 wins coming in, 9-5 in conference play. I feel like you can chalk up a whole bunch of those 18 to just how hard they play. You might beat them, but you're going to know you're in a ball game with these guys in a white uniform.
Ruben Douglas speeding to the other end.
Oh, a three! Ruben!
And New Mexico, the tie.
He can put points on the board in about a 2-minute span as good as anybody in college basketball. Does he run beforehand? Well, I don't know, but look, nothing but the bottom.
They were going to just try to tie it with some free throws. They get ahead by 2 as Chris Ruben. I guess that means he knocked in a 3.
A 3.
We had 8 ties, but now New Mexico leads. New Mexico shoots 61%. UNLV shoots 57%. And that's how you get 100 points in 20 minutes of play. Bob Carpenter, Jimmy Dykes back here at the Mountain West quarterfinal. Winner gets Utah tomorrow night. Can this continue, this offensive efficiency we're seeing?
I think it will, because this game is guard dominated right now, and that's where all the plays have been made. There hasn't been a lot of stuff done as far as manufacturing looks, running sets, turning it over 4 or 5 times, but there's been a lot of heart plays, a lot of hustle plays. Just pick up the basketball, attack the rim type stuff. A lot of one-on-one. We've seen a lot of baskets made, Bob, after just maybe 1 pass or 2 passes and go make a play. That's what I talked about in the first half. One-on-one defense is a real premium for these clubs right now. Ruben Douglas runs it down, picks it up, turns around and strokes it. Both clubs are very confident right now and in rhythm on the offensive end.
Lobos with it, second half underway. New Mexico on that 3-point runner by Ruben Douglas, a 2-point lead. There's a kick by Marcus Banks. Of 35 UNLV, 20 of 33 New Mexico in those first 20 minutes.
What's surprising in that half, with the pace, New Mexico only 7 turnovers, UNLV with 3 turnovers in that first 20 minutes of fast-paced action.
Chatfield ripped right away from him by Lou Kelly. On the run out, it's Booker to Kelly. 4-3, and Lou Kelly gets it done at both ends. 14 for him. What a great play to start the second half for the home team. Chatfield on the wing. Dennehy open down deep, and then he bounces the ball off his foot over the baseline. Mountain West Tournament record for those 100 points combined in the first half. We might have 200 combined the way this thing's going. And here come the Lobos. Carey, left side, Chatfield. Deep three and rimmed out on him. And a long rebound for Marcus Banks. New Mexico had 51 in the first half of the game in this tournament against Colorado State last year.
Patrick Dennehy was breathing pretty hard a couple times the first 20 minutes. And this is a pace that does not favor number 33 in red. Now he's a force in this ball game. Once the thing slows down just a little bit, it becomes a half-court affair.
Kelly, so active. And that's goaltending, Mustafa Jean. Give the basket to Lou Kelly, and that's 16 for Lou tonight.
Can't block a shot when your feet are underneath the rim to begin with as the defender. Going to be goaltending called just about every time.
And not unless you get yourself out of there. Here's Q Carey, who hit a couple of threes in the first half tonight. During conference play, he went 1 for 25 beyond the arc. Oh, Marcus, a no-looker for Richardson. What an assist by Banks.
Chris Richardson is playing the 5 spot for Vegas, but he runs the floor as fast as any guard on the floor right now. And 3 or 4 times a ball game, Bob, he'll leak out, run out early, and finish on the other end for an easy 2 points.
New Mexico timeout, 2 minutes out of halftime. They got a quick basket, but all Vegas since, and the Rebels lead by 5.
UNLV jumps out to a 5-point lead. Now watch this transition basket by the Rebels. Right now, Mustafa Jean, number 55, is a 5-man for New Mexico, and he's going to be chasing another 5 guy, Chris Richardson, for the Rebels. But he's too slow a foot. It's not his fault, but Chris Richardson is a runner, and there he's going to go in for an easy layup. Look at that. You've got to get back if you're a New Mexico guard and take away that 5 guy running for UNLV. Mustafa Jean is tough around the rim. You can't expect him to keep up in a foot race right now with Chris Richardson, and that's exactly what happened on that last play.
Especially not a guy who's been riddled by injuries throughout his career. He's got that bone that's dying in his ankle, and he just can't run with a guy like Richardson.
Right.
There's a shove underneath. Lou Kelly with a foul. That'll be his second.
And what Richardson lacks as far as size, Bob, on the interior as a defender and an offensive weapon, he makes up for at times running that floor on.
Ruben Douglas, 15 for him tonight.
And they're face guarding him. He's got 15 with a guy face guarding him all over the floor right now. Tough looks for Ruben Douglas.
Tough defense by Ruben Douglas on Lou Kelly. Oh, they're going to call it back the other way. Ronnie Dixon right there to make the call, saying it's out of bounds. Off of Kelly, and New Mexico gets it back.
Ruben had 30 in this building on Saturday with the same type of defense on him. Face guarding everywhere he goes.
5 out of 7 beyond the arc in that game. Douglas turning, passing, never got there. Great look by Richardson defensively. Here comes Chris. He's running with Banks. Stops, Booker. Kelly for 3. Lou Kelly with 19. 59-53, UNLV with their largest lead. Q Carey on the drive, and Marcus Banks extending that left arm a little. That'll be his second.
Look at Lou Kelly, good extra pass that time to turn down an average 3-point shot, to slide it over one more time and get a pretty good open 3-point shot. Again, this is a kid that's a momentum shooter. Sometimes he gets momentum for his team. Sometimes he gets momentum for the other team. But that's the type of player he is.
Richardson beaten by Dennehy on the inbounds play. 12 for Patrick Dennehy. Kelly again, short. Richardson, no, it's Delron Johnson. He drills it while being fouled. And Delron's into double figures.
First team all-conference player, and that was a first team all-conference play. Go up high and keep that ball alive, catch it, turn, get the shoulder square, and get it to drop. Tough shot at the end of that play by Delron Johnson.
11 for him tonight. He's already approaching the top 20 in UNLV scoring. And his next block will tie him #1 all-time with Elmore Spencer with 146. What a nice career Delron Johnson having here at Vegas, and he'll be back next year. 16:52 to go. UNLV by 7, their largest lead.
UNLV with their version of the pancake this time on the pressing situation. Had one guy in front of Chatfield, one guy behind him. Charlie Spoonhour, what a veteran coach. Now, this is a guy that's coaching the up-tempo game, the pressure all over the floor, because that's the style of kids he has right now. But what did he play back at SMS in St. Louis?
A lot of half court.
You got that
straight
right.
up man-to-man.
Yes, sir.
Ball games in the 50s and 60s. Chatfield, tough shot. He draws contact. Delron Johnson, that'll be his third.
Delron Johnson's had a pretty good evening so far. He's been full of energy, has made a lot of plays. He's been active without the basketball. He's picked his spots and flashing behind the defense. Look at this. This is a guy 6'9", Bob. Picks that ball up and with quickness gets to the rim. Keeping balls alive, gets those shoulders square. I mean, he has really come on this season as a UNLV Rebel. He plays the game with a lot of heart, a lot of passion. He'll have to sit right now.
Rick Chatfield made the first free throw. How about the night he's had? 17 for him, 6 over his average. He had 18 on this floor in just 26 minutes last Saturday. Fewest minutes he played in the game since he played 9 against West Virginia back in November. They might want to leave him out there all night long. 3 short from Sin-Q Carey. Outlet, Richardson for Marcus Banks. Look at him shake and bake. He'll bank and miss. Dennehy will outlet for Chatfield, and here we go back the other way. Eric again. Chatfield with 19. His best game of the year, 24 against UNLV at the pit back on February 5.
Yeah, these clubs will run it right up your backside from defense to offense. So if you're a defender, you've got to sprint, get your feet set, and start playing on your toes. You can't play on your heels in this game right now.
3 on 1. Dennehy. Sin-Q left it for the trailer.
What a pass and what a catch by Dennehy. Kind of an unexpected surprise pass for the big guy to get, catch, and finish. A super play, and the Lobo fans that have made the trip from Albuquerque are up in the end zone to our left.
Several thousand of them. Marcus Banks kicks it for Booker. Short with a 3. Dennehy clears the rebound. Boy, Wyoming had 7,000 to 8,000 here today. UNLV's got a big contingent. Utah always brings a couple. We got some excitement in this building on day 1 of this tournament.
Bob, nobody in the country played harder today. Harder, not better. I'm saying harder than Air Force. Yeah. You and I sat here and watched it. I salute Air Force for their effort.
Eric Chatfield on the drive. UNLV foul. It'll be on Omari Pierce.
This guy's just so strong. I mean, he's kind of like DeJuan Wagner at Memphis when he starts penetrating with that basketball. He can take a pretty good bump, a pretty good blow, but he keeps his line of attack pretty true. You might knock him off 6 inches one side or the other, but he's going to get where he wants to go.
Jimmy, you and I have been talking about Memphis for a couple of weeks now. Tough loss for them. How about Houston? Ray McCallum's club jumping up and getting them in the Conference USA tournament today.
Still find it hard for Memphis to win their division, be 1 second away from being a tri-champion in a really good league. And now they're going to be sitting there holding their breath on Selection Sunday. Charlotte now, in my opinion, in Conference USA is 1 win away from getting an NCAA berth, and that could happen for them tomorrow. It's a big mountain to climb, isn't it?
Number 1 Cincinnati waiting for them. Eric Chatfield. Can't get the second one. Look, it's Dennehy. He kind of lost where the rim was when he went up off the floor. Should have had 2 there. Here's Banks. Oh, and he draws a blocking foul. The pace of this game is amazing. Sin-Q Carey on the foul. That'll be his 3rd.
I mean, it's just so hard to get back and take away this guy's ability to get to the paint because he's coming at you full speed. He's got moves right and left, and he advances that ball, Bob, so quickly from defense to offense. You just can't hardly get back and get set and build back out like you have to stop a tough penetrator like Marcus Banks.
Marcus Banks has not scored this half. 14 in the first half. Rattles out on it.
Another real key in this game, Bob, getting the ball from one end of the floor to the other, is how quickly they get the rebound and make the outlet pass. Boom, they're off and running. They're not playing around with it. The ball's not getting stuck in the hands of the rebounder. He's getting it, getting rid of it, and the attack mode is on.
Marcus Banks, 15 points tonight. The 16-minute media timeout. 63-62 UNLV. But on this run out, watch sink to carry. Leave it for Patrick Dennehy. Long way to go. Interesting quarterfinal game here. Winner gets Utah, and you get Bob Knight. Brian Dennehy has Bob Knight. A season on the brink coming your way. 8 o'clock Eastern. Viewer discretion strongly advised. ESPN and ESPN2 present 2 airings. Unedited on ESPN, edited with reduced audible adult language on ESPN2. It's part of a great Sunday, part of the block, and it comes after the ACC championship, the Big 12 championship, the women's and men's selection special. Sports Center. No reason to flip over anywhere else on Sunday. It'll be huge.
I'm going to remind you again tonight, don't call me from Sunday afternoon, 1 o'clock on. I'm going to be in front of the TV taking all that stuff in. I don't want to be bothered.
Not even if I call collect?
You never have yet. I know you ain't going to start this Sunday.
63-62 UNLV. 14:35 to go. Ruben Douglas can't drill the deuce. Cody Payne had a touch on it over the baseline, and it'll stay with New Mexico.
Seen a lot of effort plays tonight. Just what you'd expect in this ball game.
Eric Chatfield finding Ruben Douglas, who wiggled free underneath. 17 for him. Marcus Banks has been wiggling all night long. He's drawing fouls on everybody, and he gets Eric Chatfield for his first right there.
Bob, one guy is not going to stop Marcus Banks. You got to have a couple of guys that are playing shadow defenders. Look at Ruben Douglas just sneak through right there. Maybe a special play put in for this tournament only for New Mexico. Gets them an easy 2 points. A lot of times coaches will add an out-of-bounds player or two this time of the year to get them a bucket when they need one.
Working beautifully that time. Delron Johnson fired a puller over to Javon Banks. Good hands to keep that one in. There's Delron on the perimeter, working against Dennehy. Help from Lightfoot. And then Delron Johnson getting the foul, and that's his 4th.
That's huge because he's the guy right now that New Mexico's having a hard time matching up with. A great rip by Tim Lightfoot, and Delron gets just enough contact and a little frustration. He's going to have to sit now for quite a while.
Coming right about 3 minutes after he got number 3. Could be a big factor in this game. For the most part, their best player, best passer, good three-point shooter. He can face up down low. And Dennehy and Payne, we'll see what they can get done with Delron Johnson out of there. Number 14, Omari Pierce, a sophomore, becomes crucial here for UNLV.
Delron's got some help coming next year in the form of J.K. Edwards out of Indian Hills Community College, one of those first-team All-American kids this year. James Peters, another 6'8" big body at Butler County Community College.
19 for Ruben Douglas with that make. And it's New Mexico by 3. A time of the game when they can take advantage of some things. Here's Lou Kelly. Richardson for 3. Off to the right. Omari Pearson, offensive rebound. He draws a foul on Dennehy, and that'll be his 3rd. Championship week, we're in the Mountain West. The EAS Mountain West Championship. Quarterfinal action, 4th game of the day. Jimmy Dykes alongside yours truly in Wyoming, beating Air Force in OT today. San Diego State will play them tomorrow. They beat BYU. Utah by 3, escaping Colorado State. The Utes tomorrow night on ESPN. Get the winner of this one. Jimmy and I will be right back here at midnight Eastern tomorrow night.
There it is. We'll actually be here tomorrow from noon on watching the women's semifinals because we've got that championship game as well on Saturday. Looking forward to that one. Colorado State right now trying to fight their way back into the NCAA tournament. So we're going to go home, sleep, shower, change clothes, come back and be in the gym again tomorrow for 12 hours. What greater day is there for you and I than tomorrow to sit and watch all those basketball games and have one tomorrow night again on TV? And forget Danny Gans and all the other stuff in town. We're here for hoops, man.
What was that? Turns into a pretty good pass. I was thinking Christmas was a pretty good day. Vegas by 1, 67-66. Our 14th lead change of this game.
Oh, what a strip. What a strip by the defender of the year in this league.
Marcus Banks. A Las Vegas strip. And it's the Rebels by 3. Timeout, Fran Fraschilla.
When St-Q carries out of the ball game, it really limits them in the ball handling department. See Chatfield bringing it up, gets a little lackadaisical, and gets the ball dribbled too high, Bob. You can't have that ball dribbled above your waist against a sneaky, quick defender like this kid is. You see Chatfield, that's too slow of a turn. You can't get careless with that basketball around a guy that's this quick and built that low to the ground and is always honing in on that basketball. Stay low, keep a low center of gravity, turn quick when you make that move.
Well, Marcus Banks having a big night. And Jimmy mentioned it earlier. You talk about a coach adapting. Charlie Spoonhour comes out of St. Louis U after 7 years, 3 NCAAs, 5 NCAAs at Southwest Missouri State in 9 years. He completely changes some things he's been doing forever to adapt himself to these kids. And this is a club that could make a run right through this tournament. We saw it happen under Billy Bano a couple of years ago.
Well, if they're going to make a run, certainly Dowron Johnson will do his part, but Marcus Banks right now is the trigger guy. He's the guy that gets things going on both ends of the floor for this UNLV club because of his speed. He's got great straight-ahead speed, and he's got a great first step. He's a terrific on-ball defender, plays with a lot of stride, and he's a lot stronger than people realize at home. He's got really good lower body leg strength, and there's another forced turnover because of the pressure of Marcus Banks.
Q Carey palming the ball.
He's a one-man press right now. What kind of press you in, Marcus Banks?
13 New Mexico turnovers.
It's not a 1-3-1. It's not a 2-2-1. It's a number 3.
He's a one-man press. Our speed depends on him, says Charlie Spoonhour, and that happens at both ends. Lou Kelly, ball fake. Hangs it up, Omari Pearson, yes. Nice possession. How about Omari Pearson? 6 of his 8 since halftime, and 2 of those baskets since Dowron Johnson sat down with 4 fouls.
Well, Banks working hard to force Q Carey to use that left hand. Carey not quite as comfortable and quite as quick going to that side.
Lightfoot puts it on the floor, can't hit the 3. Omari Pearson, no, it was Cody Payne the last to touch it, and Fran Fraschilla can't believe the call. The under 12-minute timeout. We're 2 seconds under 12 minutes, and we've got a long, long way to go. Nice work by Kelly and company. Vegas by 5. Mountain West, Thursday night, couple of coaches working hard. Fran Fraschilla for New Mexico, Charlie Spoonhour for UNLV. Coming up tomorrow, some hard-working coaches in Indianapolis, the Big Ten Championship Friday doubleheader. Michigan State and Indiana, 11:30 a.m. And then a couple of hours later, Iowa and Wisconsin. ESPN2 action presented by 7-Up, the Big Ten doubleheader. Log on to ESPN.com for more on the Big Ten Championship Week and college hoops.
Nice second half, isn't it, right there? Those 2 kids. Tell you what, the other thing I'm impressed with, the pace of this ball game. UNLV still only 7 turnovers so far in this back-and-forth affair.
First half, Vegas shot 57%. New Mexico, 61. Q Carey. Ruben Douglas putting it on the floor. Little contact, they let him play on. Ruben Douglas knocked Chris Richardson down, and Ruben's got 21 tonight, his 12th 20-point game of the year.
And he who hesitates is lost in this ball game. You catch, you better attack. If you're open, you better shoot.
Kelly with a sweet kiss. 21 for him.
Aren't they all, partner?
Wow. 11 minutes to go. That was almost as sweet as the first kiss, as my partner says. 10:59 to go. Omari Pierce on the foul. How about Luke Kelly using the glass here? Sweet.
You know what? He's finally healthy for the first time in his career, because we've suffered through a couple of up and down shooting nights with this guy before, but he's full speed now. He is in rhythm right now on the offensive end, about as well as you can be. No hesitation in his game.
Sincu carry. Dennehy out there with the pick and roll. Sincu penetrated, took that ball in his hip, and then he scored. 8 for him tonight after he hit a couple of early threes, and UNLV leads it 73-70. We are on par for two teams around 100 points tonight.
I mean, there have been at least a dozen tough, questionable shots that have gone in this ball game for both clubs.
Omari Pierce over Dennehy. A little too hard. Rips it away from him, but he had to foul him to do it. And now that's 4 on Omari Pierce. And Charlie Spoonhour may not be able to wait much longer before he brings in another man with 4, Delron Johnson. Right now, Delron's only been on the bench for about 3 minutes and 45 seconds.
As long as Charlie has the lead or is tied, he'll try to buy this time with Delron probably down to about the 7-minute mark, if I was guessing. He will not finish the game in that chair, I can tell you that.
Patrick Dennehy back iron with the free throw. Good rebound there by Jamal Williams of New Mexico. And it'll stay with the Lobos. 17 seconds away for the midway point, second half. At the half, it was 51-49 New Mexico on a coast-to-coast three-point runner by Ruben Douglas. Chatfield catches and shoots, rims out. Dennehy again. 16 for him. And he's ripped down 9 rebounds tonight. 1 board away from his 4th double-double of the year, and we've got a 1-point game again.
And he's really improved. Was he about a 3-point and 2-rebound type kid last year, Dennehy?
4 boards a game, 2 points.
You round up. For your chart, you round up. It was probably 3.7 or something.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do.
Watch Dennehy right here. Strong rebound, but then doesn't get in a hurry at the end of the play, Bob. He got the rebound, got himself in jumping position. Watch, the rebound, boom. Now take your time, go back up and lay it in softly. Nice play.
Patrick Dennehy, couple of games against Vegas this year. 16 points, 14 rebounds at the pit. And then last Saturday here, before he fouled out, he had 13 and 9, and 5 of those 9 rebounds were offensive. So he duplicates those numbers here. He has 3 fouls. He'll be around for a while. And we are halfway through a second half of what's been a wonderful ball game here in Vegas tonight. Luke Kelly will throw it in. Marcus Banks. What's this? Standing around in the half court? Nobody's done this all night. Now we're in motion. Shot clock to 10. Banks driving. Kicks it. Kelly for 3. We've got a foul on Chatfield, or is it inside? It's Eric Chatfield running at the shooter. And that's going to be 3 free throws. Number 2 on Eric Chatfield.
I can tell you what both coaches said to their clubs prior to running out here and tossing this thing up tonight. Play this game with as much urgency as you've played with all year. Our postseason life depends on it. Whether you're trying to fight for a spot in the NIT or keep your hopes alive to get in the NCAA tournament by running through this one. Because that's exactly how everyone that stepped on the floor tonight has played this game.
You are absolutely right. 3 or 4 guys in double figures halfway through the first half. Luke Kelly's next free throw. He'll try to give himself 24.
And this is a league that's had 10 overtime games just during the regular season alone this year. And 6 of the clubs out here right now are in the top 100 in schedule strength, and that's why Steve McLean was making the point he was about how solid this league is right now. Look at this.
Chatfield. Wow, how quick was he? 22 for the senior out of LaSalle Academy, New York City. Trailer, Kelly. 3, no. Sin-Q carry as the Rebels go 1 and out. Ruben Douglas directing traffic from 35 feet away.
You can't get any closer than that. Javon Banks is at the 34-foot mark. There's a reason why he's at 35.
Vegas have some good defending guards, don't they?
I love watching Javon Banks as a defender.
Straight ahead. Won't go for Jamal Williams. Dennehy saves it. Chatfield for 3. He is red hot tonight. 25 for a man averaging 11. Marcus Banks racing to the other end, and he draws a New Mexico foul. You better not celebrate a basket in this game.
Nope. Look at
Sin-Q carry with 4.
Bob, look at this kid. Just drives that bucket. Now that's good offense, but that's not good defense at all. No one saw vision of the ball. Then Sin-Q carry sets up his buddy, gets his feet set. Has been inconsistent as a three-point shooter this year, but right now everything's clicking for this guy.
Luke Kelly leaves the game massaging his calf muscles. He's got a bit of a dual cramp going over there. Lewis Amundsen in for UNLV. Sin-Q carry sits down with 4 fouls at the 8:38 mark, and Tim Lightfoot's back in.
Shouldn't somebody be doing that for him? And usually a teammate or a trainer or somebody from the stands would come down and, you know, say, hey, let me help you out, big fella. There we go. Bob, I'll be right back. Oh, no, there we got some help.
Yeah, Dave Tomczak's got the ice pack. You're free to leave anytime you want. 19 for Marcus Banks.
I might sleep in here tonight just to keep soaking up the atmosphere with Thomas and Mack.
Well, they got some pretzels and chips back in that press room for you. Chatfield short. Look at Richardson get way upstairs. Then he runs out. Here comes Marcus Banks. But this kid is energy plus. Booker. Whoops. They got all bunched in the middle. Nobody was out on the wing to grab that pass. 8:13 to go. Thomas and Mack Center, Las Vegas. Final quarterfinal game of the EAS Mountain West Championship. Carpenter and Dykes, your Mountain West guys, watching the most entertaining game we've seen in this league all year. And that's saying something because we had 8 straight weeks of very tight ball games, including the non-conference game the first Monday when Gonzaga visited Albuquerque.
Wasn't that a beauty? So was that shot right there.
Ruben Douglas with 2 dozen tonight.
If you flinch just for a second in this ball game, you'll be the team that ends up with an L on your forehead. It's like a heavyweight bout. Boom, I hit you. Boom, you hit me back. Don't give in right now.
80-78 New Mexico. Booker for Banks. Shot clock to 8. Banks for 3. Off to the right. Javon Banks got it. And he thought Ruben Douglas pushed him out of bounds. The official said, nope, New Mexico basketball. 7:17 to go. They take blow after blow and deliver a few along the way. Lobos by a deuce. On ESPN from the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas. We've had 10 ties, 17, count them, 17 lead changes in this game tonight. New Mexico leads at 80-78, and we've still got a long way to go in this one.
Ruben Douglas with 24, Eric Chatfield with 25 to lead their squad. Luke Kelly with 24, Marcus Banks with 19 for the Rebels.
Got 3 or 4 guys having career nights here. Long pass down to Dennehy. Broken up by Amundsen. Rebels get it back. Lobos got real impatient there. Banks. That was Javon Banks for Amundsen. He went driving in. Who got it? Jamal Williams? Lobos hope so. That'll be number 1 on Jamal instead of number 4 on Patrick Dennehy, who is right next to him.
One of those kind of games, Bob, if you're a coach, you don't even have time to get on your kids. I mean, a mistake happens, you start to holler at him, and then a good play happens. So if you forget about the bad play, then another mistake happens, you just end up sitting down.
Some nights you got to let them play, don't you?
Yep.
At the table, Delron Johnson, who's been out of this game since his 4th foul at the 14-10 mark 7 minutes and 5 seconds ago. He can't come in yet. The freshman just missed the free throw.
Good job by Dennehy to be an outlet as a big man. Uh-oh.
Javon Banks pawing away at him. It'll stay with New Mexico. Ron's back. Sin-Q Carey is back for Fran Fraschilla. He also playing with 4 fouls. Chatfield, we got bodies flying away from the ball. Another UNLV foul. Looks like another one on Javon Banks. We've got 4 checking. Stay out of the corners for this one. And Saturday, be sure and catch the NHL on ABC. A trio of very good matchups. Rangers Penguins, Red Wings St. Louis, or Kings Avalanche. Saturday on ABC as the NHL starts to make its move toward postseason play. Ruben Douglas to the line.
You know, I was noticing today, this afternoon, when we were just watching games. I mean, the band was playing harder than usual. The cheerleaders were cheering harder than usual. I mean, when you get to tournament time, everybody's got to turn it up a notch. I just felt that the San Diego State band this afternoon was amazing. They played hard. They played their instruments as hard as you can play them.
Guy that took my ticket just ripped the thing right in half. He was psyched. Delron Johnson driving in the paint. And a New Mexico foul on the prone Eric Chatfield. Ruben says, come on up here, big guy. Eric Chatfield with his 3rd. Went up and got a hot dog. Guy whipped it right at me, just threw it at me. He was ready for this quarterfinal action. Delron at the line. He's an 85% free throw. You know, those dancing waters looked a little excited to me a few minutes ago, too. I'm going to leave you alone now. Lobos by 3.
Pretty good ball game we got going on here. You know what? The kids playing are having a lot of fun playing, too. I mean, they're playing hard. They can't give any more than they're giving right now, but it's a hard-fought, cleanly played basketball game.
That's right.
Just tough competitive plays being made.
And as you mentioned, not a whole lot of turnovers. Here's Jamal Williams easing his way in. Jamal, first basket of the night. 84-80, 6:20 to go. New Mexico on top. Utah's got their hands full tomorrow night with either of these punches. Marcus Banks driving, taken away from him cleanly. Here they come, 2-on-1. Chatfield fakes to Douglas, can't roll it in. And a New Mexico foul. You got to score when it's 2-on-1.
Yep. And they have for the most part in this game. Teams that have had the numbers have converted. Chatfield fakes right and just steps by. He'll make that 9 out of 10 times.
Dennehy, 4th foul. 6:04 to go. I'm telling you, Jimmy, down the stretch, this is going to be a battle of mental strength as well. Got some guys in foul trouble. How long can they all stick around?
Well, Bob, that was my point 3 or 4 minutes ago. You can't flinch in this ball game. You can't give in for a possession or two and all of a sudden find yourself down, 7 or 8 points. You just got to stay right in there, a basket here, a basket there.
Dennehy gone. Cody Payne relieves him. Luke Kelly, 25 big ones tonight. Perfect on the rotation. 2-point game, running down 6 minutes to go. I mean, these guys are playing like it's the last minute.
Well, that's how they have to play. They play that way for the whole game.
Richardson from behind. Javon Banks jams it in. This thing is tied again. 11th time we've been all knotted up.
Helping.
Sin-Q carry for Cody Payne. Ruben Douglas on the move. Almost slipped. Turns around. Can't roll it home. Cody Payton banks it in. His second basket of the night. 86-84.
Before the ball ever went through the net, Fran Fraschillo's hollering, "Get back." That's where his mind's at as a coach. I don't blame him.
He's thinking ahead.
Yep.
Richardson on the drive. And it looks like Sin Q Carey. Nope, it's not going to be on him. It's going to be Jamal Williams, his second.
Well, they come at you from all angles. They play defense from behind. They play well on the side of you. They get you forcing up that sidelines. This guy here is just a pain in the backside for 40 minutes when he's around that basketball. Javon Banks.
Omari Pierce and Patrick Dennehy at the table for Vegas and New Mexico, respectively. Good touch by Richardson. Didn't stroke it that well. It still went in for him. Dennehy back. Omari Pearson in for the shooter of Chris Richardson. Knocks this one down to tie this game for the 12th time.
There are no heavy-set, slow-footed people on this floor tonight. That would not work.
86-86. A 30-second timeout by Charlie Spoonhour. Tomorrow night on ESPN, same time, we'll have Utah against the winner of this one. And how about the Utes earlier tonight? They had quite a battle, Utah. It took a career-high 23 points from Jeff Johnson. There's little brother Britton Johnson getting it done. Boy, Jeff was great tonight. 7 of 10, 8 of 11 from the free throw line. And it came down to this, to tie. And the Rams came up a little bit short.
Boy, you and I were really impressed. I mean, really impressed with redshirt freshman Matt Nelson for Colorado State. Yeah, little Johnson had 23 points himself, but Matt Nelson, 6 out of 7 from the field, 13 free throw, 25 points, and that is one big 7-footer that's going to be around causing headaches in this league for a while.
Utah's got some great big men. They couldn't guard the freshman.
They could not guard him. Very impressed for the first time to see that guy in person. Seen him on film a couple of times, and I'd like to work with him for the next 2 or 3 years.
Well, he can attend Jimmy D's big man camp and get it in bigger.
That's right. That's right.
5:10 to go, 86 all. Lobos get it across the timeline. Chatfield looks up. He's got a 2-on-1. That's a charge. It's going back the other way, and that's Chatfield's fourth. Ronnie Hernandez right there with the whistle. Official in good position on the baseline.
Boy, I just think it's so difficult to take a charge when you're standing right underneath the rim. You got to give the offensive player a chance to, shoot a layup on you. That's what Chatfield was doing. That's why they got to put that semicircle in the lane. Take away that judgment call by the official. We get the semicircle in, the below 500 rule in, and we've done something.
Little common sense, and we've got it made.
Yeah.
Thanks to Pearson. That's a backcourt violation.
Not yet. Should have been.
Chatfield, Sin-Q carry, and that's a deuce and a foul. Ooh, what a bad turnover by UNLV.
Yep. You don't fault the effort by Javon Banks. He did all he could to try to save that ball. He just kind of had to try to save it and throw it blindly, and boom. Right to a red jersey, and then convert the 2-on-1 and the reach at the end to compound the problem.
Javon Banks with his third. Sin-Q carry at the line, trying to put New Mexico on top by 3. 11 for him.
Double
5
figures.
over his average.
Yeah, double figures for him is a plus for the Lobos.
Only the 5th time he's done it all year.
Yeah.
First time since he had 10 against Wyoming.
I mean, I just don't see in anybody's eyes, on the floor, off the floor, any hint of I'm tired and I'm ready for this thing to be over with. I'm so in love with the passion and the energy and the urgency that these clubs have played with tonight.
Pearson the follow after Marcus Banks missed it, and Omari's got 8 of his 10 since halftime. 89-88. We've still got 4 minutes to go.
I mean, if you're a college player and you're still in your conference tournament, or you're sitting at home and you've already advanced to the NCAA next week, This is what it's all about. This is how you play the game this time of the year. You should play it like this all the time. But
Dennehy. Patrick with 18. He's got 11 rebounds to go with it. And the great plays keep on coming. 3:42 remaining. New Mexico 91-88. Wow, what a game. Rebels 55%. Look at that. A dozen times we've been tied. Lead changes hands 17 times. Vegas by 7. That didn't last very long. Sports Center's coming up after we wrap this one up in the Mountain West tonight. More on that when we get closer. We've still got a long 3:42 to go.
That largest lead thing being only 7 points, that tells you that neither team has given in. Neither team has taken 2 or 3 possessions off and allowed someone to get out to that 9 or 10 point mark.
Marcus Banks down the floor. Ready to kick that thing into a bigger gear anytime. On the wing for Javon Banks. Lou Kelly. He got this night started with a couple of good shots early.
The set plays that have been called in this game have been oriented for a big to touch it. New Mexico took it away.
Javon Banks with a 3. Tie game at 91.
Another example of a game that they ought to make the fans pay again when they leave. Not a lot of those during the year. This is one of them.
Chatfield on top. Williams for Ruben Douglas. And Javon Banks trying to be in his front pocket. Ruben wiggles away from him. Delron Johnson, great rebound. Outlet. 3-on-2. Pull up. Banks long with the 3. Lou Kelly fumbled it. And Jamal Williams for New Mexico. 2:35 to go. Eric Chatfield.
Only that defensive stance by Marcus Banks. Eyes are locked in right on that belt buckle.
40 feet.
Hands are active.
5-second call.
And he's a one-man press again.
40 feet from the basket.
That's a highlight film on how to on-ball defend. Look at that. Keeps within 4 or 5 feet. Keeps those hands active. Stays down in a defensive stance. He never stood up one time while Chatfield was bouncing that ball 4 or 5 bounces.
Banks took off and stopped. Here's Lou Kelly for 3. Delron Johnson a touch. Down he goes. And it stays with UNLV. Fran Fraschilla wants a timeout. I think the official's going to reverse this one. Yeah, it looked like Delron was the last one to touch it. Chris Richardson coming back for our Vegas.
Delron touched it.
And the officials eventually got it right.
Yep. New Mexico's ball. Good call.
Timeout. New Mexico. Fran has one more after this. And it comes with 2:03 to go. 91 all. What a quarterfinal in the Mountain West. EAS Mountain West quarterfinal, 91 all. Winner gets Utah at midnight Eastern tomorrow night. After our game at Sports Center, Linda Cohn, Scott Van Pelt. They'll talk about that Pac-10 tournament tipping off at the Staples Center in LA. Dick and Dicker talk about who helped or hurt themselves in today's game on our bracket breakdown. And we'll have a showcase highlight for you. Log on to ESPN.com for more on everything happening around hoops and everything else as we approach Selection Sunday. Bob Carpenter, Jimmy Dykes, the Mountain West putting on quite a show in Vegas tonight.
Well, what a crowd, huh? All day long for the opening day of this tournament.
First game at noon. Wyoming brought 7,000 or 8,000. They expect another 1,000 or so to join that bunch tomorrow when they take on San Diego State. That'll be some semifinal game. And then we'll have Utah against the winner of this battle, to say the least. Eric Chatfield at the line.
You know the game means something when a couple of fans are having to be escorted out of the building by the ushers. See, they're cheering just as hard as the kids are playing. Obviously, they broke a rule in there somewhere, but I mean, they brought their passion to this building tonight as well. You don't just see that all the time.
Chatfield misses both. Rebound, Lou Kelly. It's amazing how your vision goes far beyond what's happening on the floor. Kelly. Oh, give and go. Off the glass.
Did he score or what?
How about Delron Johnson with that return pass? 28 for Lou Kelly.
Bob, Kelly's not a great shooter the more I watch him play, but he can really score that basketball. There's a difference.
Vegas by 2. Running down to a minute 20 or less on this possession. Sinque carry and Ruben Douglas running the baseline. Sinque from the corner. Barely nicking iron. Dennehy can't save it. Boy, that little give and go. How about that?
Delron Johnson knew as soon as I touch it, I got my guy cutting. Terrific play by Delron Johnson. He's really developed into an all-around player. Not a true position. I describe him as a floater because he's always just kind of floating around that half-court, hurting you in a lot of ways. That time it was as a passer.
1 minute remaining in this game. UNLV trying to make this a 2-possession affair. Shot clock at 15. Lou Kelly against Chatfield.
You got people in the stands covering their eyes. They can't watch.
Marcus Banks. Down to Delron. Oh, it's Richardson. He'll draw a foul on Jamal Williams, who came rotating over. That'll be number 3 on Jamal. And Chris Richardson will go to the line. He's a 63% shooter, a senior, Corpus Christi, Texas kid. I don't know if daughter Jaslyn is still up at this hour, but daddy's working hard to try to get his team into the semifinals.
Oh, Bob, look at some of the minutes some of these guys have played tonight. I mean, Chatfield and Douglas and Carey, they haven't been out, but just maybe for a blow just for a minute. And on the other hand, Marcus Banks and Javon Banks, they have logged a ton of minutes tonight.
Sinque carry leaves. Tim Lightfoot back for some offense, maybe a 3-point shot. Richardson looking to drain this one for double figures and a 4-point lead. 45 seconds to go. Way short.
Look at that hustle. Look at that hustle.
New Mexico's got it. Well, you miss a free throw by that big of a margin, crazy things usually happen. So the Lobos down by a single 3-point shot. 41.1 seconds to go. Chatfield driving on Banks. Underneath Williams. Great look. Jamal Williams with 4. Still a 1-point lead for UNLV. Final 30 seconds. The shot clock is off.
Proper play. Get that quick 2 points and come back down and try to lock in for defense one more time.
Well, they knew Vegas was guarding the perimeter, didn't they?
Yep. Had to foul. You can't afford this thing to just continue to run on down on you.
Jamal Williams his 4th.
And so much pressure on the perimeter. Every once in a while in this ball game, a big has been left unattended at the rim. This time it's Jamal Williams, the freshman. Catch up and in.
Marcus Banks trying to extend the 1-point lead. Second straight time the Rebels can't hit the second free throw. Douglas for the lead. New Mexico on top.
Wow! What a ball game.
Final 10 seconds. Spoonar says, go ahead and play, Marcus. A blocking foul on the Lobos.
The best option they had right there. Marcus Banks going to that rim, straight ahead speed with the basketball.
Eric Chatfield fouls out.
A missed free throw, and look at Ruben Douglas. He's thinking one thing. I'm not thinking pass, I'm thinking take it up and in. Clutch shot by Ruben Douglas. Marcus Banks has done this all night long. Straight ahead speed with that basketball. Chatfield was moving just enough for the call to be made. Now we go to the charity stripe.
I like what I saw. Marcus Banks coming across midcourt, looking over to Charlie Spoonhour. Coach, timeout.
Now
Charlie
play
said,
on.
play on, buddy.
Yep.
We're going right at him. And that's been the kind of game this has been tonight. UNLV down by 1, 9 seconds to go, and free throws coming. How about Ruben Douglas? 29 with that make. He's had 3 games of 30 or more this year. Don't forget that 3 he hit before halftime that got the Lobos on top by a couple. And here's Marcus Banks trying to tie it and then give his team the lead. This is that shot at halftime. Watch this.
More times than not, a shot like that right at the end of the half, you look back on and say, that's the one that got it done for us. But they got to get the ball back here. If the 2 free throws drop, and get another chance. Right now, that shot at half court at halftime is huge.
Vegas has missed 3 of its last 5 free throws. Now they've got to have this to tie it. .96 all. 8.9 to go. And the Lobos have it in their own hands right now. Guess whose hands it's into? Ruben Douglas. Banks on it. 3 seconds. 2. The shot. He comes back down with it. Never got it off. And we're going to overtime. And isn't that fitting?
This game deserves 5 more minutes if I've ever seen one. And the energy level ain't going to drop off. I can promise you that. Look at Javon Banks, man. Great one-on-one defense with a game on the line. Reaches in. Gets enough contact on that ball to throw Ruben Douglas off. And, and you got that right. That sums it up right there.
Javon Banks says, ain't going to happen tonight. We're going to overtime. Don't you wish guys who fouled out could come back and play in the overtime? Eric Chatfield, one of those. Ruben Douglas, a 29-point night. Sports Center coming after we wrap it up, and we've got 5 minutes of OT. 96 all after regulation. Delron Johnson has hung around with 4 fouls. Patrick Dennehy the same. They're going to re-jump this one up.
Well, it was clearly, the tip was controlled by Delron Johnson.
Well, Fran says, should have been our ball. Dennehy gets it back to his guy, Sin-Q Carey, anyway. First couple of years of the Mountain West Tournament, we never had overtime. We're going to bookend this day with overtime games. Wyoming over Air Force, and who's going to be over who here? It's Dennehy, 20 points for him with that make.
Well, there goes the guy again, straight at the rim with a basketball, Marcus Banks.
23 for Marcus. We're tied at 98.
How many times has he done that tonight?
I don't know, 60, 70.
It does seem like it.
Seems like it.
It was also the first time this league's had 1 regular season champion. A tri-champion last year, a co-champion the first year, and this year Wyoming stands alone at the top at the end of the regular season.
Good rebound, Chris Richardson of UNLV. Banks for Banks. Javon for Marcus. Sin-Q Carey defending. Williams watching Delron Johnson. A couple of defenders with 4 fouls right there. Underneath, Richardson. Great look. Tried to jam it. The iron stuck him, and then he's fouled. That was interesting. He just didn't get up high enough. Looks like Ruben Douglas with a foul, only his second.
Maybe the first sign of this ball game of fatigue, because Richardson's a guy that can clearly jump up over the rim with his head anytime he wants to, but kind of jumped a little bit off balance too and trying to jump backwards. And
yeah, he kind of got caught right under the basket. Double figures for Chris Richardson now. His 15th double-figure game of the year. 99-98 UNLV. Rebels in double figures tonight. A 2-point lead as Vegas hits the century mark. New Mexico will be there shortly.
I know this, if the NIT is looking for a team that is going to play as hard as they can possibly play, take the one that doesn't win this game.
Sin-Q carry the miss. Straight ahead.
Wow.
Richardson! Luke Kelly down there.
Well, again, they utilize their 5-man, which is Richardson, to leak out. He'll do it 4, sometimes 5 times a ball game. That's 8 or 10 points a ball game if you let him do it.
Timeout, New Mexico. .3:14 to go. 102-98 for UNLV. What a pass by Luke Kelly. The run out. The jam. Chris Richardson. All you folks back east, we know you've called all your friends. You're all awake with us. Pumping that caffeine. Well, get the earplugs out, some blindfolds, get a good night's sleep. There's more coming your way tomorrow. We'll tell you about some of the nighttime action. It's championship week, and we're in the Big East. And it's Miami and Pitt. What a great top 20 matchup that is at 7. Notre Dame and UConn a couple of hours after that. Friday night on ESPN. Log on to ESPN.com for more on the Big East and championship week. 13,000 in the building tonight. Almost 12,000 today. A first-day record for attendance in the Mountain West. Ruben Douglas, tough shot, and Javon Banks fouled him. That'll be number 4 on that feisty defender.
Man, it is such a war right now between Banks and Banks defensively against Carey and Ruben Douglas for New Mexico on the offensive end. It is not easy just to make an entry pass in this ball game right now for New Mexico. Chatfield on the bench takes away a primary ball handler. That could play huge in this game.
Ruben Douglas, his 4th 30-point game of the year. Rims out. Vegas by 3. 2 minutes into overtime. 3 minutes to go. Javon Banks right side for Richardson. Kelly. And Javon Banks for Delron Johnson.
Good movement by UNLV.
Down deep. And won't go the jump hook. Baseline right.
Look out. I think there's 2 of him on the floor sometimes. He guards the guy that makes the pass, and he also is the guy that's running through the pass at the end of the play. And he's not even the best defender on his own team, according to everybody in this league.
Marcus Banks, Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year, guarding Sin-Q Carey there. Javon Banks on Ruben Douglas. Help from Richardson. Ruben stepping out, stepping in, flying up, missing the shot. Cody Payne got a second chance. A half dozen for him. 102-101. Vegas by 1. 2:10 to go in overtime. Charlie Spoonhour with a timeout.
Bob, whatever these folks ate for a pregame meal, it works. Ruben Douglas has just had to go get his own a lot of times tonight. And Javon Banks has been the one trying to keep him from getting his own. Cody Payne that time comes in and cleans it up. But this whole entire game, the 203 points that have been scored, they've all been dictated off both clubs taking the basketball and taking the basketball to the rim. That sums up this entire game.
We have had some moments of good perimeter shooting. 8 of 13 on threes by New Mexico. 6 of 19 by UNLV. Cheerleaders have to be worn out. Sports Center coming up next. Running down to 2 minutes remaining. Running Rebels by 1.
And you got to be tough right now. Mentally, you got to be tougher than the guy you're going against. Don't give in.
Delron Johnson. 15 for him. He made a great move to the basket. Outstanding passing, and the Rebels on top by 3.
Isn't he versatile? And if you don't have a versatile defender on him, he's going to find where you're weak, and run right to that spot on the floor.
Dennehy into the paint. A little shot, perfectly done. 22 for Patrick Dennehy tonight with 12 rebounds. 104-103.
Well, I'll say this about
remaining.
Fran Fraschil's squad, you're going to agree. As the coach has had a ton of criticism on him this year, there's no way his team can play any harder than they play. I mean, I don't know what everything's being said about him. The one thing you can't say is he quit coaching this year and his team quit playing. That is nonsense, because they have not done it.
Reuben Douglas, and rims out on it. A rebound, Lou Kelly, final 55 seconds. And we understand those Lobo fans are pretty hard to please. Well, both teams' fans have to be more than pleased tonight.
Yes,
one of the
sir.
great shows of the year. Charlie Spoonhour, another timeout. This one with 47.1 seconds remaining. Rebels on top by 1.
Talking about the versatility of Dalron Johnson. We've seen him as a passer. We've seen him in the open floor. We've seen him as a driver. Now he's a post-up threat. He gets that defender on the high side, gets him on that right shoulder, sticks out that left paw as a target hand. They're delivering the ball, and then one big drop step, boom, crams it home.
Each coach with one timeout left. Home team has the possession arrow. Any fouls results in 2 free throws. 47.1 seconds to go in overtime. Linda Cohn, Scott Van Pelt standing by with Sports Center next. A lot of things happening out in this part of the country today. The Pac-10 got underway with their tournament, and a record-setting day here in the Mountain West. Marcus Banks. Sin Q Carey watching him.
Got an idea number 3 is going to take that ball towards the basket here pretty quick.
Shot clock's at 10. Lou Kelly, right side, a hanger. Tough shot. Tip, no. Dennehy. And the Lobos could go on top. 20 seconds to go. Timeout. New Mexico. .7 seconds to go. Linda and Scott will talk about the Pac-10. Dick and Digger with some of their thoughts from earlier about who helped or hurt themselves in today's games. A lot of tournaments in their quarters and semis now. That's all coming up next on SportsCenter. Linda Cohn and Scott Van Pelt. Jimmy and I and our Mountain West crew back here at midnight Eastern tomorrow night for the Utah Runnin' Utes against the, shall we call it, survivor of this one.
Well, if you're wondering what Fran Fraschil has drawn up in the huddle right there, you might look for Reuben Douglas. 3 times tonight off of an out-of-bounds play. He has been the guy that has rolled in or caught the shot, but 6 critical points off out-of-bounds plays for New Mexico, and they ended up coming from Reuben Douglas. Granted, this thing's going to be taken in from the sidelines out of bounds. You can still drop a sideline out of bounds play, Bob, to get the ball in the hands of number 5 in red. Now he's going to be the guy taking it out, which tells me they're probably going to let him take it out and then try to work it right back to him by running him off a couple of screens.
14 seconds to go. Sin Q Carey.
There he
for
is.
Reuben Douglas. Losing it. Marcus Banks, and Douglas fouls him with 6 seconds to go. Marcus Banks, Javon Banks in the middle of it again. Their defense has been remarkable tonight.
He really didn't have a lot of screen to work with. Kind of got himself open. Now watch. Boy, is that not a great play by Banks to rotate down? Maybe there's a little contact, but there's a lot of hand on the ball as well. It was a great read and double down by Marcus Banks to leave his guy and not let Reuben Douglas beat him.
Marcus Banks at the line. No teammates within 30 feet of him. This is one of those you're on your own, big boy, free throw situations. Leading by 1.
Even if he makes them both, don't turn off your TV set.
Marcus with 24 tonight. Still a chance for a New Mexico run out to tie this game. Make us play a little longer. A 2 to tie. A 3 could win it. Sin-Q carry inside the arc. Underneath. Yes!
My goodness!
Double overtime coming.
Wow!
Sin-Q carry with as much English as you'll ever see in a basketball. The red light went on while the ball was up in the air. The officials will go over and have a look, but Jimmy, he got that off in time.
Well, he had 6 seconds to work with. UNLV doesn't come up and put any pressure on him. They let him advance that thing up the left side. And here's what the officials are looking at. Watch when the ball is released and watch for the red light to come on.
Yep.
It's in, isn't it?
It's away.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. What a smart play by Sin-Q Carey. Didn't settle for a tough jump shot. Took it all the way to the rim.
Double overtime coming in Las Vegas.
Wow.
300 table. And Lonnie explaining to us what officials are required to do in such a situation. They knew this shot was good, Jimmy, but anytime it's a shot in the last second of a game to tie it or to win it, they are required to go over to the table, look at it on the monitor. There's the red light. Shot was away, and the game is tied. But the officials are required by the NCAA to go over and check the replay just to make sure.
That game clock can show 0-0-0, but until that red light comes on, that ball is still active.
Second overtime. Chris Richardson on the opening tap, and the Rebels go to work.
You say like there's a chance for another one.
Just leaving open the possibility. Had a 4 overtime game in this league this year, haven't we?
Yeah, we didn't do it, but there was one.
Lou Kelly. I think the crowd's worn out. A little quiet right now. Delron Johnson for Javon Banks. He drills the 3. Double figures for him.
Crowd's tired, kids aren't. That's the most important part.
Youth. Tim Lightfoot, a 3-point shooter. Feeding it for Dennehy.
He's got to score at that spot on the floor. At least get to the free throw strike.
It'll be Chris Richardson with his first. How can a guy play all night and have 1 foul? At the line, Dennehy. He has scored 22 points with 13 rebounds tonight.
Well, look at all 9 guys on the floor that aren't shooting a free throw. At one point, they're all leaning over with hands on knees. Now they're starting to wear down and tire out a little bit. Again, you got kids that have played a ton of minutes tonight. Not a lot of substitution by either coach. They don't have great depth on that bench to work with.
Patrick Dennehy with 24 on the night. UNLV on top, 108-107. Sports Center sometime in the foreseeable future. We're not really sure when. So Lyndon Scott will get it to you. Banks thought about the 3. Penetrates, hangs. Oh, my goodness.
Look at this kid.
Now he can't miss.
Yeah.
Senior going out big time. He's a local kid out of Valley High School here in Las Vegas. And the Rebels lead at 110-107.
He scores and he runs right back down this corner and starts face guarding Ruben Douglas.
There they are.
Look at this. They have danced together for 50 minutes when this thing's over.
Ruben long with a 3. Dennehy trying to keep it. It'll stay with New Mexico.
Look at Banks. I mean, his energy level is still right where it was when this thing started off. And you forget about how hard he's played on the defensive end of the floor. Look at him right now again, chasing the basketball.
Kelly got a piece of that pass. Cody Payne. Dennehy. Did he push off? If he did, he's done. Patrick Dennehy fouls out with 24 points, 13 rebounds, and 3:19 of overtime yet to play.
Cody Payne takes it from the strong side to the weak side, and Dennehy just enough contact over the back. This will not be a game decided by one club wanted to win it a little bit more than the other.
Yeah, they both did, didn't they?
We've seen a lot of games like that are decided by a team that had a bigger heart. Not tonight. I'm not going to say that one club doesn't deserve to lose, because something's going to happen down the stretch where you don't make a play and you don't win the ball game. But as far as effort, both teams grade out an A+. It's one of the few times I've seen it all year for an extended period of time. There has not been a minute go by in this ball game, Bob, where I've thought they've really hit a lull.
Well, they didn't do much at halftime. It's the only lull I can think of.
Well, we weren't in the locker room. Who knows? They may have been in there going through drills.
Oh, college hoops. Chatfield gone. Dennehy gone here in the second overtime. Sinkyu Carey has been around for a long time before, as have 3 Rebels. Lou Kelly at the line. Lou Kelly hasn't scored since the second half. He's got a 28-point night going. And this to put his team on top by 4. 29 points, ties a career high for Lou.
Well, what, you got 3 minutes to go, and if you're on the floor right now, you say, well, I'm gonna tighten it up one more time, make one more run at it.
Sinkyu Carey to miss. It eludes Cody Payne. Now it's out of bounds off Delron Johnson. And you got guys with 4 fouls just going at each other.
Yeah, you're not going to hold yourself on this one. You can rest. You can foul out tomorrow. Forget about it. You got to play right now.
Well, playing tomorrow is the idea.
Yes, sir.
Here's Sinkyu Carey. Belly up defense. Marcus Banks. Out to Lightfoot. Taking away Javon Banks.
I don't know. I can't remember the last time I've seen a kid play with this much energy for 45+ minutes.
This is a guy averaging 18 minutes a game.
Yeah.
He's going to play 40+ tonight. Sinkyu Carey. Marcus Banks with him every breath of the way. Look at this. Ruben Douglas. No. I tell you, Javon is really making it tough on Ruben now. UNLV could go on top here by 6, maybe 7. They're calling the Rebels here at the Thomas and Mack. Javon Banks on top, Delron Johnson. He has stuck around, had 4 fouls a long time ago. Marcus Banks, short. Shot clock was at 5 when that ball hit the rim.
Lobos have to score on this possession.
Timeout, New Mexico. 1:57 in the second overtime. Running Rebels lead it. 111-107.
Chris Fowler, you're the guy, man. 239 in Bristol, and you're hanging with us. That's my guy right there. That's a guy that loves hoops as much as you and I.
The next time Jimmy and I come east, breakfast is on us, Chris.
You got that right.
111-107 UNLV. Here's Ruben Douglas.
Breakfast is on Bob, just
as usual.
Clarify it.
Douglas, 32 on the night.
Chris Fowler's hanging in there with us. Hey, California's the deepest team as far as depth in the Pac-10. Now, they get past that first game tonight, they could win that entire tournament because of their depth.
You're going to have to explain that one to me. They're the deepest in terms of depth.
Yeah. Not deepest in terms of three-point shooters, or deepest in terms of post guys.
All right. 111-109 Vegas. Lou Kelly on a great look. Lou Kelly with 31.
Just a simple pass to the strong side, curl a guy off the weak side. A lot of simple plays are working right now. Just
UNLV 113-109. Douglas stopped by Delron Johnson. Marcus Banks behind the back.
Yep.
Kelly. And now the Rebels lead by 6.
Keep coming, though. If you're New Mexico, you keep coming right now, you know?
2-possession game. They have plenty of time here. Sinkyu Carey. No. Again. Yes. No timeouts to call. Sinkyu with 15 on the night. 4-point game and a foul in the backcourt.
Well, I can tell you what. Utah should have the advantage in the fresh leg department tomorrow night. You got to judge the heart factor. There's that little curl from the weak side to the strong side. He is a scorer. He's not a shooter. A lot of guys in this building, including people in the stands, could beat him in a shooting contest, just catching and shooting. This guy knows how to score with that basketball.
Marcus Banks, 24 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 8 of 12 at the line. Now they lead by 5. You all know SportsCenter's next, don't you? By the way, we tell you about the Bob Knight movie on Sunday? And Banks with 26. 37.7 to go. Running Rebels by a half dozen.
Is that this Sunday?
Yeah.
Banks and Banks. You can't get any more out of those two guys than you've gotten, especially in the overtime period. They have fought their tail off as defenders. They've knocked down shots when they've had to. They've come up with loose balls. They've hit tough shots, impossible shots, off-balance shots. They've scrambled, they've dived, they've dove, they've bumped, bruised, sweat. Everything that goes into a championship week and a championship effort, Banks and Banks have brought it.
There's what's at stake. Wyoming, San Diego State tomorrow night. That'll be a great basketball game. Utah struggled to beat the Rams tonight. If I'm the winner of this game, I say, boys, forget the shoot-around tomorrow. Sleep in, have a brunch. We'll see you for the pregame meal and take on those running Utes. 37.7 to go. I mean, these teams know each other by now, no matter who they're playing.
They better.
Here's Sin-Q carry. Urgency for the Lobos. That ball deflected by Richardson. 29.5 seconds to go. 2-possession game, but it's the max for that, a 6-point spread. Ruben Douglas is on the left block.
I pop Ruben for a 3. Just catch, let it go, Ruben. You're too good a shooter.
Short, and he's been short with all of his shots lately. Carey. Here's
decision.
Lightfoot for 3.
Great
He's
decision.
fresh.
Yeah, great decision.
Tim Lightfoot. 3-point game. 21 seconds to go. He's got the freshest legs of any of their shooters. Tim Lightfoot. And a foul.
Well, and he's the best 3-point shooter in the Mountain West. They left him uncovered. Good decision not to force the 2-point try and kick it out for the tray.
Lightfoot with his 3rd foul.
That's what I'm talking about right here. Sin-Q Carey has played this game with high IQ at that lead guard spot for the most part, and that was a high IQ play right there.
Well, Ron Johnson misses.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
He's got to have one to make it a 2-possession game.
Now, he had a "are you kidding me" play last year up in Laramie, Wyoming with a buzzer beater. He misses this one. It's another "you kidding me." Huh?
2 possessions. They don't have to have a 3 right here.
They need a quick score.
Sin-Q Carey. Unable to get it, McWilliams. Rebound Richardson. He was fouled. Ready to be a foul on Cody Payne. 10.5 seconds to go. And it might be over, but don't tell that to the Lobos.
I wonder how many times tonight Charlie Spoonhour, the thought through his mind was, what in the world am I doing over here? You know, last year he's out, he's doing our job, life's good, and now he's up at almost midnight local time trying to fight his club into the next round. But we've seen UNLV work their magic before on this floor.
Hey, that's the youngest 62-year-old I know.
You got that right.
Here's Richardson trying to make it a 5-point game.
I'm going to tell us in January, I'm just trying to get my club good enough to maybe pull it off in March.
Douglas. Lightfoot for 3. Yes! 1-point game. 4.2 seconds to go. And Kelly is fouled in the backcourt by Lightfoot. 2.7 to go. 1-point game. And I'll tell you, folks, this thing is far from over.
Far from over.
As far as 2.7 seconds can be. A 1-point lead. Kelly to shoot a couple.
Boy, look at that. That is as clutch a three as you're going to find.
Tough shot.
His release rotation is true to form every time he shoots.
Lou Kelly with 34 points tonight. A Mountain West Tournament record.
You got to pick them up a little bit here. They made a mistake last time of dropping everybody back. You got to put a little false pressure on them here and not just let them get a clean 2.7-second run at you.
Well, now the best they could do would be tie it with a three.
You got to throw that ball down the floor, not in the corner. No, not there.
Midcourt, Cody Payne.
Get rid of it, Cody. That's
over.
That's it.
It is over. 50 minutes of basketball, and it took almost 3 hours to do it. 120-117. Vegas plays Utah tomorrow night. For Jimmy Dykes and our entire ESPN crew, Bob Carpenter. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Log on to ESPN.com. Good night from Vegas. Sports Center is now.
Month of March defined. New Mexico and UNLV. Ruben Douglas from just inside half court at the end of the first half. Lobos up a deuce. Now 20 seconds left in the game. UNLV's Marcus Banks at the line. They're up 2. Banks going to miss the free throw. Ruben Douglas going to dribble all the way up. Actually, not all the way. He's going to stop, pop, shut him down, open up shop. Lobos up 1. UNLV would hit a free throw. We're tied now in overtime. You got Sinkyu Carey going up with a circus shot.
You're kidding me.
And we are headed into a second OT, tied at 105. Unbelievable in the second OT. UNLV ball up 1. Javon Banks going to drive, hit the floater. UNLV goes up 3. And then moments later, off the New Mexico miss, here comes Marcus Banks with a circus dish. Oh, the sweet Lou Kelly. Lou Kelly had 35. UNLV wins it by 3.